Have you ever walked into a room and felt something was off before anyone said a word? That's not coincidence. That's energy. And it doesn't just flow around you, it flows from you. We all carry an invisible frequency that touches everything we do. Our health, our mood, our relationships, and even our success. The truth is this: your vibration shapes your life. Now imagine waking up every morning and feeling centered, strong, calm, and clear, regardless of what's happening outside. Imagine making decisions from peace, not panic. Imagine being so aligned that what once felt like struggle now feels like flow. Sounds powerful, right? That's what today is about. I'm going to give you 12 daily habits, practical, immediate, and powerful, that will raise your vibration instantly. And here's the promise. If you stay with me to the end, you'll walk away not just with habits, but with a new state of being that will change the way life responds to you. Before you even speak a word in the morning, stop and breathe deeply. In through the nose, hold, and out through the mouth. This grounds your mind and shifts you from autopilot into presence. Splash cold water on your face, or better yet, take a cold shower. It shocks the nervous system awake and clears stagnant energy. You don't wake up your day, you let your energy wake up you. Whether it's a walk, yoga, or stretching, physical motion releases mental and emotional blockages. Movement creates momentum, not just in the body, but in your entire frequency. Don't let the first thing you see be your phone. Start your day in silence. No notifications. No input. Just you and your breath. Let you be the first influence in your mind, not the world. Write or speak one thing you're grateful for, but go beyond words. Close your eyes. Feel it in your heart. Gratitude isn't a list. It's an energy that instantly rewires your frequency. Be mindful of the words you use. Every word is a vibration. Say what uplifts, heals, and empowers, not just for others, but for yourself. Your voice is an energy tool. What you eat becomes your energy. Choose foods that are alive, fresh, and clean. Don't just feed your body, charge it. Even 5 minutes in sunlight, barefoot on the ground or near trees, shifts your vibration. Nature doesn't teach presence. It is presence. Whether it's journaling, drawing, or planning your goals, express something from within before taking in content from outside. Begin the day with creation, not consumption. Be aware of who you spend time with. Your environment is a mirror to your energy. High vibration thrives with authenticity, respect, and joy, not drama. Yes, even when you don't feel like it. A genuine smile, whether at a stranger or yourself in the mirror, creates a neurochemical shift. You raise your vibration by being the reason it rises. As the day closes, release it. Don't carry its weight into tomorrow. Say, I let go of what I don't need, and I rest in peace and clarity. Sleep is healing. Make it sacred. Everything is energy. This isn't a metaphor or a poetic idea, it's a fundamental truth. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every word you speak, and every action you take emits a frequency. You are not just living in an energetic world, you are an energetic being. The vibration you carry is not invisible to the universe. It's how life responds to you. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And what you are is the frequency you carry every single moment. People often think their circumstances shape their reality. They look around at their environment, their job, their relationships, and assume that's who they are. But in truth, it's the other way around. Your inner energy, the subtle vibration of your state of being, shapes how you experience everything. When you feel drained, uninspired, anxious, or heavy, it's not just about mood. Your vibration has dropped. And when your vibration is low, everything in life feels like resistance. Conversations feel forced, your goals seem distant, and even small tasks become heavy. On the other hand, when your energy is high, when your vibration is elevated, you feel light, focused, joyful, and aligned. It's like the universe clears a path for you. What once felt difficult now feels effortless. The flow finds you. The beautiful truth is this: your vibration is not static. It shifts constantly depending on your habits, your thoughts, and your environment, which means you have the power to raise it at any moment. You're not at the mercy of your circumstances. You're in control of your energetic state. When you understand this, you stop blaming life and start taking responsibility for the energy you bring into it. You realize that transformation doesn't begin by changing the world around you. It begins by changing the frequency within you. But how do you raise your vibration? Not with theory or wishful thinking, not by waiting for motivation or a perfect moment. You raise your vibration through daily, intentional action. Through habits that clear the mind, strengthen the body, and open the heart. Habits that reconnect you to your center. These aren't abstract spiritual practices. They are practical, grounded actions that anyone can do. You don't need to be a monk on a mountain to live with high energy. You can be in the middle of a busy life with responsibilities and challenges, and still choose to show up with a frequency of clarity, strength, and presence. When you consistently act in ways that raise your vibration, everything changes. Your thoughts become clearer, your emotional state becomes lighter, you feel less reactive and more responsive, you stop absorbing the energy of others and start radiating your own. People notice, opportunities open, the quality of your relationships shifts. Because you're not just doing more, you're being more grounded, more intentional, more magnetic. Most people spend their days reacting to life. They wait for something good to happen in order to feel good. But that's living backwards. Your vibration isn't a reaction, it's a cause. When you learn to cultivate high energy from within, you stop waiting for life to make you feel better. And you start influencing life from a place of power. You walk into a room and the energy rises, you speak and people listen, not because of what you say, but because of the vibration behind your words. You handle challenges not with panic, but with presence. That's what high vibration does. It doesn't just change how you feel, it changes how life feels around you. It's easy to underestimate energy because it's invisible. You can't touch it, bottle it, or measure it the way you do your time or money. But your vibration is the most powerful currency you have. It influences your health, your focus, your emotional well-being, your creativity, and your ability to manifest. You could have all the skills, all the resources, all the support, but if your energy is low, everything will feel blocked. Conversely, even when you're starting from nothing, if your vibration is high, life begins to move with you. You start to receive the right ideas, meet the right people, feel the right timing. It all begins with energy. So remember this. Before you check your phone, before you plan your day, before you react to the world, tune into your energy. Ask yourself, what frequency am I operating from right now? Not to judge, but to become conscious. Because awareness is the first step to change. And when you live consciously, when you honor your energy and take small actions to raise it daily, you begin to live in alignment, not just with yourself, but with the deeper intelligence that moves through all things. Your vibration is your life force, and when you raise it, you don't just feel better, you become better. Not in comparison to anyone else, but in alignment with your highest self. That's the power of energy. That's why it's everything. We often believe that the answers to transformation are hidden in complexity. That in order to feel better, live better, or rise to our potential, we need to search endlessly, overthink everything, and dive into complicated routines or philosophies. But the truth is far more liberating. The most powerful changes in your energy and your life don't come from doing more, they come from doing less with intention. Simplicity is not weakness, it is power in its purest form. When something is simple, it becomes repeatable. And when it's repeatable, it becomes real. Raising your vibration doesn't require a retreat, a spiritual awakening, or a dramatic life shift. It starts with small, consistent habits that you can do daily, anywhere, anytime. These are not practices reserved for monks or sages. They are for anyone with a body, a breath, and a willingness to live with greater awareness. The beauty of simplicity is that it removes excuses. It removes the need for waiting. It says, you already have what you need. You don't need to add more. You need to return to what matters. Think about this. Your body already knows how to heal. Your mind already knows how to find clarity. Your heart already knows how to connect. But in the noise of modern life, we forget. We get caught in the endless scroll, the constant doing, the pressure to perform. We become so entangled in the complexity of tasks, relationships, and external noise that we lose touch with the inner tools that can elevate our state of being immediately. The habits that raise your vibration are not complex techniques. They are a return to the basics, done with presence and consistency. Simplicity works because energy is subtle. You don't need big gestures to feel a shift. You need awareness. A single deep breath, fully felt, can change your mental state. A glass of clean water, taken slowly, can bring you back into your body. A few minutes of silence without stimulation can reconnect you to your inner clarity. These moments may seem insignificant when viewed through the lens of achievement, but through the lens of vibration, they are everything. The smallest rituals, when done mindfully, are not just helpful, they are transformative. The mind resists simplicity because it doesn't feel dramatic enough. The ego wants fireworks. It wants the complicated because it equates struggle with value. But energy doesn't respond to drama, it responds to purity, a clear intention, a present breath, a grounded body. These are the things that shift your frequency. And the simpler the habit, the easier it is to stay consistent. Consistency is what creates energy, momentum. Momentum is what creates elevation. When you look at those who radiate peace, strength, and clarity, it's really because they've mastered something elaborate. It's because they've committed to the simple things that others overlook. They wake up with intention. They move their body. They breathe with awareness. They protect their peace. They stay hydrated. They speak with kindness. They end their day with reflection. These are not dramatic actions, but done consistently, they create a vibrational force that is magnetic, steady, and powerful. There's a reason why nature heals us. It's because nature is simple. The sun rises, the wind moves, the trees grow. They don't overthink. They don't rush, and yet their presence shifts us. The more we return to simple, grounded rhythms in our own life, the more we return to alignment with that same natural power. You don't need to become someone new to raise your vibration. You simply need to strip away the noise, the habits that dull your energy, and come back to the practices that make you feel clear, connected, and calm. Every single person has access to high energy, but not everyone commits to the simplicity that creates it. The reason many feel stuck is not because they lack knowledge. It's because they ignore the small steps waiting for something big to change. But the shift you're looking for begins the moment you take responsibility for your vibration and choose a simple action that brings you back to your center. One breath, one pause, one choice to slow down instead of rush, one morning without your phone, one glass of water with presence, one moment of gratitude. These don't seem like much, but done daily, they elevate your frequency in ways that ripple into every corner of your life. In a world addicted to complexity, those who live simply, intentionally, consciously shine with a different kind of power. It's not loud, it's not forceful, but it is undeniable. Simplicity isn't about doing less for the sake of minimalism. It's about doing only what matters most and doing it with your whole presence. That's what raises your vibration instantly. Not magic, not motivation, but the mastery of small, simple, sacred acts done every single day. In a world obsessed with hustle, with doing more, achieving faster, and staying constantly in motion, we've mistaken speed for success and exhaustion for accomplishment. We push ourselves to the edge, believing that burnout is just the cost of ambition. But somewhere in that noise, we forget something essential. Life isn't meant to be a struggle. True power doesn't come from constant effort. It comes from alignment. And when you're aligned, things flow. You no longer chase outcomes. They come to you because your energy is finally matching what you desire. Hustle teaches us to grind, to keep moving no matter how disconnected we feel inside. It pushes us to achieve from pressure rather than presence. But alignment is different. It's the quiet confidence that comes from being centered, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's the knowing that when your energy is clean and elevated, life begins to move with you instead of against you. You stop forcing things. You stop second-guessing. You take action not from fear of missing out, but from clarity and inner guidance. That's the difference. Hustle drains, alignment sustains. So think of the times when you've worked hard but felt empty. The times when you checked off every box, met every deadline, hit every goal, but still felt restless or unfulfilled. So that's what happens when your actions aren't aligned with your energy. You're doing all the right things on the outside, but something feels off inside. Your vibration is low, even if your productivity is high. And eventually, your body and mind will tell you the truth, that your calendar won't, that you're out of sync with yourself. Alignment doesn't mean doing nothing. It doesn't mean you sit and wait for life to hand you what you want. It means you act from a place of wholeness, not lack. You move with awareness, not panic. You do the work, but you do it in a way that honors your energy. You create space to listen. You check in with your inner world before chasing the outer one. You realize that your energy isn't just a background detail. It's the blueprint. It determines how you experience life, how you make decisions, and what you attract. The people who move through life with a sense of ease are not lucky. They're aligned. They've learned to trust their timing. They've learned to let go of what drains them and to follow what lights them up. They understand that it's not about how fast they go. It's about how clearly they're moving in the direction of their truth. When you're aligned, your energy speaks before you do. People feel it. Opportunities find you. Synchronicities become normal. There's not fantasy. That's a natural response to someone living in energetic integrity. What does this look like in practice? It means beginning each day by tuning into your inner state before you dive into external demands. It means recognizing when you're pushing too hard from fear and pausing long enough to return to calm. It means choosing rest not as weakness but as wisdom. It means allowing joy to be a guide, not just a reward. These small shifts in how you show up ripple out into everything you do. Your work improves, your relationships deepen, your mind clears, not because you're hustling harder, but because your energy is finally working with you, not against you. We live in a time where being busy is worn like a badge. But busyness without alignment is noise. It's motion without meaning. The real power lies in being deeply present with fewer things that truly matter. And when you live like that, when you prioritize inner clarity over outer chaos, you discover that less really is more. One aligned decision can do more for your life than 100 scattered efforts. When you shift from hustle to alignment, you're no longer operating from scarcity. You're no longer trying to prove something to the world. Instead, you're allowing your inner world to shape your outer experience. You become magnetic, not because you are louder or faster, but because your energy is clean, focused, and real. You don't chase outcomes, you attract resonance. You don't seek validation, you embody certainty. So pause, breathe, ask yourself, am I forcing this or is this flowing? The answer to that question will tell you everything about whether you're living in hustle or in harmony. The most successful, fulfilled people aren't the busiest, they're the most aligned. They move from a place of deep connection to themselves. And as a result, life meets them with clarity, grace, and power. Alignment over hustle isn't just a better strategy, it's a better way to live. It's where your energy rises, your mind calms, and your purpose becomes clear. You don't burn out, you light up. That's the shift. That's the invitation. That's the way forward. Most people move through life on autopilot. They wake up, check their phones before even taking a breath, go through the motions of the day, respond to whatever demands come their way, and collapse into bed at night, wondering where the hours went. Days blur into weeks, and weeks into months, with little awareness of how they actually feel or what direction they're truly heading. This is not living. This is existing, and it's the fastest way to lose connection with your energy, your purpose, and your power. The opposite of this numb routine is conscious living, and it's one of the most powerful ways to raise your vibration instantly. Conscious living means choosing to be present. It means becoming aware of the thoughts you think, the words you speak, the food you eat, the people you surround yourself with, and the energy behind your decisions. Nothing is accidental. Nothing is done just because that's the way it is. When you live consciously, every action becomes a statement of who you are and what you value. You begin to see that every moment is a choice. Even the smallest habits carry energy. And that energy either elevates you or drains you. When you become conscious, you step out of the role of victim and into the role of creator. You stop blaming your past, your job, your environment, or other people for how you feel. Instead, you recognize that you are constantly co-creating your life with your focus, your attention, and your intention. Conscious living is not about perfection. It's about awareness. It's about noticing your inner state before you act and choosing to respond instead of react. It's realizing that your vibration is shaped more by how you do things than what you do. Consider how many unconscious decisions we make in a single day. Eating without thinking, speaking without awareness, absorbing the energy of others without protecting our own, scrolling endlessly to avoid our own thoughts. All of these small unconscious habits lower our vibration. They disconnect us from our body, from our intuition, and from our inner wisdom. But the moment you bring awareness to a habit, even something as simple as drinking water or walking down the street, it shifts. Your energy changes. You become more grounded, more centered, and more alive. Conscious living also means being deeply intentional about what you allow into your space, mentally, emotionally, and physically. You realize that what you consume doesn't stop at food. It includes the content you watch, the conversations you engage in, the environments you spend time in. If something consistently drains you, lowers your mood, or brings chaos into your mind, Conscious living invites you to examine it. Is it necessary? Is it serving your growth? Or is it simply familiar? One of the greatest gifts of conscious living is that it brings you back to the present moment, and the present is where your true power lives. Anxiety is often rooted in the future. Regret is tied to the past. But peace, clarity, and intuition exist now. When you choose to live consciously, you reconnect with that stillness beneath the noise. You realize that joy isn't something you chase, it's something you feel when you're awake to the moment, and that presence alone can raise your vibration higher than any external achievement ever could. Another core aspect of conscious living is emotional awareness. You stop suppressing your emotions or judging them as good or bad. Instead, you see them as messages from your inner world, indicators of alignment or misalignment. You feel your emotions fully, and in doing so, you allow them to pass through you rather than get stuck inside you. This emotional honesty creates inner space, and that space becomes fertile ground for peace, creativity, and transformation. Living consciously also deepens your relationships. When you bring presence into your interactions, people feel seen. You listen not just to reply, but to understand. You speak with intention, not just out of habit. Your energy becomes calmer, clearer, and more magnetic, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because your presence is real. And when you live this way, the universe meets you differently. Opportunities appear, not because you're forcing them, but because you're aligned with them. You're not running after life, you're flowing with it. Conscious living is the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to become. It's not about doing more, it's about doing less with more awareness. It's about quality over quantity, essence over appearance, depth over destruction. When you start living consciously, even the simplest routines, waking up, walking, eating, breathing, become sacred. They become moments of connection rather than just tasks to complete. Your vibration rises the moment you bring full awareness into the now. That's the secret. Not more effort, not more struggle, just more presence. And the more present you are, the more alive you become. Because conscious living is not just a path to higher energy, it is a return to who you truly are. Breath is the most overlooked, yet most powerful tool you have to raise your vibration instantly. It's happening all the time, quietly, rhythmically, without your attention. And that's the problem. We forget it. We treat breath like background noise. But the moment you bring conscious awareness to your breathing, everything changes. Breath is not just a biological function. It is a gateway between your body and your mind, between your inner world and the outer world. People spend their whole lives searching for peace, clarity, and strength in all kinds of places. They seek it in achievement, in relationships, in routines, or in the opinions of others. But all along, the most direct path has been inside them, right beneath their nose. The breath is not just air, it's life force. It carries prana, chi, energy, or whatever you want to call it. It nourishes every cell, quiets the mind, resets the nervous system, and clears the emotional fog. It is both ancient and immediate. You don't need a technique to start. You just need attention. Have you ever noticed how you breathe when you're anxious? The breath becomes tight, shallow, fast. Your chest rises, your shoulders tense. This isn't a coincidence. Your body responds to your emotional state by shifting your breath, and the reverse is also true. When you slow your breath, you signal safety to your nervous system. You tell your body, you're okay now. And when your body feels safe, your mind clears. Your emotional energy calms. You return to presence. And in that presence, your vibration naturally begins to elevate. Breath anchors you to the now. When your mind is lost in the future or stuck in the past, your breath can bring you back to the present moment, the only place where change and healing can actually occur. You can't breathe in the past or in the future. You can only breathe now. That's why breath is so powerful. It is the most accessible portal to presence. No matter where you are or what you're feeling, you can come back to your breath and reset everything. That one simple act of awareness breaks the cycle of unconscious thinking. It cuts through stress, overwhelm, and overthinking. It clears the slate. The breath is also a mirror. If you want to know your current state of being, observe your breath. Is it rushed? Are you holding it? Is it stuck in your chest, or is it slow, full, grounded? The quality of your breath reflects the quality of your inner world. And when you learn to control your breath, you learn to control your energy. That's not an idea. It's a practice. In fact, many ancient traditions made breath work the foundation of their spiritual development. Why? Because they understood that the breath is not just a tool. It is a doorway. It can unlock higher consciousness, emotional release, and physical healing. But you don't need to know complex breathing techniques to benefit. Even just 5 minutes a day of deep, mindful breathing can shift your vibration. Inhale through the nose slowly, letting the breath fill your belly. Exhale gently without forcing. Let the breath guide your attention inward. Let it soften your face, relax your body, and clear your thoughts. This is how you return to your natural state, not by fixing the world, but by breathing into yourself. Breath also helps you release what no longer serves you. Every exhale is a letting go, a clearing, a chance to drop the tension, the worry, the overthinking. In that release, space is created, and in that space, peace can arise, joy can arise, creativity can arise. You begin to vibrate at a different level, not because anything changed outside, but because something changed within. There's a reason. Breath is the first thing you do when you enter this world and the last thing you do when you leave. It is the rhythm of your life, and within that rhythm is intelligence, wisdom, and power. You don't need permission to access it. You don't need a special place or a perfect time. You just need to pause and breathe and notice. The greatest shifts in energy don't come from effort, they come from awareness. And breath is the fastest way to awaken that awareness. Every breath is a choice, to rush or to slow down, to react or to respond, to disconnect or to return. When you choose to breathe consciously, you choose to live consciously. You choose to raise your vibration, not with force, but with presence. Breath is the gateway to stillness, to healing, to power, to alignment. And once you understand that, you never underestimate it again. Because every time you breathe with intention, you are coming home to yourself, to your peace, and to the energy that lifts you. In a world that never stops moving, where notifications, noise, and demands compete for our attention every waking second, stillness feels almost unnatural. We are taught to measure our days by how much we get done, how fast we move, and how many things we can juggle at once. But the truth is, the faster we go, the more disconnected we become. Not only from the world around us, but from ourselves. Inner stillness is not a luxury. It's not a spiritual bonus or something reserved for retreats and special occasions. It's a necessity. Because without stillness, there is no clarity, and without clarity, your energy becomes scattered, your decisions become confused, and your vibration stays low and reactive. Stillness is where you meet yourself. It's where all the noise fades, and what remains is the real you. Not the version that's performing for the world, not the one chasing expectations, but the grounded, aware presence beneath all the layers. That stillness doesn't mean silence in your environment. It means calm in your being. It's the space between your thoughts, the breath beneath the anxiety, the pause that allows you to see things for what they really are. And in that space, answers appear. Not because you found them, but because you finally got quiet enough to hear them. The reason most people feel lost, overwhelmed, or constantly uncertain is not because they lack intelligence or effort. It's because they never slow down long enough to hear what their own inner guidance is trying to say. Life is constantly speaking to you through intuition, sensations, subtle insights. But when your mind is crowded and your energy is pulled in 10 different directions, you can't receive any of it. You make decisions from fear. You chase outcomes that don't fulfill you. You stay stuck in cycles because you're reacting instead of reflecting. But when you cultivate inner stillness, you create space between stimulus and response. You no longer act out of habit or panic. You act from presence. Think about a muddy glass of water. When shaken, it looks cloudy, chaotic, impossible to see through, but when it's left to sit, the dirt settles. The water clears. That's what stillness does to your mind and your energy. It lets the chaos settle so your truth can rise. And once you've touched that clarity, your outer life begins to shift. You begin to see what's draining you. You recognize which habits are lowering your vibration. You feel which relationships are aligned and which are simply familiar. That's the power of stillness. It reveals. And once you have that clarity, your actions become more effective. You stop doing things just to stay busy. You stop saying yes to everything just to be liked. You stop overthinking, because now you know what feels right. Your energy becomes focused, and focused energy is powerful. It doesn't scatter. It cuts through noise. It attracts results that match your true frequency, not your fear-driven decisions. Stillness also strengthens your emotional balance. When you pause long enough to feel what's truly going on inside, you stop running from your emotions. You stop suppressing and start listening. In that quiet attention, your emotional energy transforms. You stop being controlled by reactive impulses. Anger softens, anxiety quiets, sadness is witnessed and released. You stop being a victim of your emotions and become a witness to them. That shift alone can elevate your vibration instantly, because you're no longer tied to chaotic patterns. You're rooted in awareness. But let's be clear. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing things from a calm, centered state. It means moving through life from a place of grounded presence, not frantic survival. You can be active and still. You can speak and still be calm. You can lead and still be deeply anchored. Stillness is not inactivity. It's intentionality. It's what gives your energy precision and direction. To cultivate stillness, you don't need hours of meditation or a perfect environment. All it takes is a moment, a few minutes of quiet, a walk without your phone, sitting in silence and just breathing. These small practices bring you back to yourself. They remind you that your value isn't in your speed or your output, it's in your presence. And the more you return to that presence, the higher your vibration rises. When your inner world is still, your outer world becomes clearer. You begin to sense what needs your attention and what doesn't. You trust your choices more. You spend less time doubting and more time doing the right things. Clarity becomes your default. Peace becomes your baseline. And from that space, you begin to create a life that reflects your truth. Not the noise, not the pressure, but the essence of who you really are. Inner stillness is a superpower in today's world. It's not a retreat. It's a return. A return to your center, your clarity, and your natural state of high vibration. The more you choose stillness, the more life makes sense. Not because it got easier, but because you became clearer. These habits aren't magic, but they are powerful. They work not because they change your world, but because they change how you show up in it. You don't raise your vibration once and stay there forever. You rise and keep rising every day, one habit at a time. Your energy is your responsibility. Your vibration is your superpower. And today is your chance to rise.